Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Magnanimosity. We are a grassroots organization dedicated to unleashing the human spirit and maximizing the potential of future generations. This is part 3 in a 10-part series entitled, Oh Yes We Are, Unleashing the Human Spirit. Please feel free to visit us at magnanimosity.webs.com. That's magnanimosity.webs.com. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to speak a moment about the hormonally imbalanced mother. Let's start with Munchausen by proxy, also called Munchausen syndrome by proxy, Munchausen by proxy syndrome, and factitious disorder by proxy. It's a label for a pattern of behavior in which mothers deliberately exaggerate and or fabricate and or induce physical and or psychological, behavioral, mental health problems in their infants. This pattern of behavior constitutes a separate kind of maltreatment, abuse, neglect, that manifests as physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, neglect, or a combination thereof. The primary purpose of this behavior is to gain some form of internal gratification, such as attention for the perpetrator. Now let us talk about postpartum depression. The symptoms are depressed mood, tearfulness, hopelessness, feeling empty inside, with or without severe anxiety, loss of pleasure in either all or almost all of your daily activities, appetite and weight change, usually a drop in appetite, but sometimes the opposite, sleep problems, usually trouble sleeping even when your baby is sleeping, noticeable change in how you walk and talk, usually restlessness, but sometimes sluggishness, extreme fatigue or loss of energy, feelings of worthlessness or guilt with no reasonable cause, difficulty concentrating and making decisions, thoughts about death or suicide, and some women with PPD have fleeting, frightening thoughts of harming their babies. Now let us talk about postpartum psychosis. These are the symptoms. Feeling removed from your baby, other people, and your surroundings, which is known as depersonalization, disturbed sleep, even when your baby is sleeping, extremely confused and disorganized thinking, increasing your risk of harming yourself, your baby, and or another person, drastically changing moods and bizarre behavior, extreme agitation or restlessness, unusual hallucinations often involving sight, smell, hearing, and or touch, delusional thinking that is not based in reality. And ladies and gentlemen, what about premenstrual syndrome? The symptoms include aggression, withdrawal from family and friends, depression, sadness, hopelessness, anger, irritability, anxiety, mood swings, decreased alertness, inability to concentrate. If you are a woman living in America today, you have the right to remain silent and commit murderous crimes. We, as a society, have given women carte blanche to kill their husbands, their children, their lovers, and their neighbors if they are perceived to be suffering from any one of a myriad of hormonal imbalance disorders. Premenstrual syndrome is justification for murdering a husband. Postpartum depression justifies killing your infant. Emotional distress can even legally absolve and justify the dissection of a man's sexual part. John Bobbitt, Lorena's husband, found that out the hard way. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a society that has come to believe that a murder committed by a hormonally imbalanced woman is somehow palatable. How then do we continue to entrust our precious children to caretakers who are basically out of their minds at least several days a month? The fact is that all of our problems shall continue until we realize that we simply cannot continue down the same road and expect different results. Some suggest that we should require mothers to take child rearing classes prior to giving birth. This will not solve the problem. It is one thing to be taught how to raise a healthy child. It is another thing altogether to actually carry it out. Mandatory education would provide only the most marginal improvement, if any at all. Inadequate mothering equals damaged children, equals damaged adults, and that equals a damaged world. This is not rocket science. Many people will find the information that I'm putting forth to be provocative, inflammatory, offensive, and difficult to accept. I can assure you, I have no desire to intentionally or gratuitously hurt anyone's feelings. Unfortunately, that is the unavoidable collateral damage. This is not about blame. It is about solutions. The only thing I care to provoke is thought. After all, ones who do not think for themselves do not think at all. The only thing I care to incite is positive change. My motives are purely altruistic. I have been accused of being damaged by my own mother, possessing serious issues, and having an axe to grind. Nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, it was not that long ago that I personally would not have made it through the first few series of this series. It was only by witnessing case after case of this abuse and by speaking with countless adults that were literally destroyed beyond repair by their mothers that I came to understand and appreciate the depth and scope of the problem. I am not talking about a scant few cases here and there. This is actually the rule, not the exception. Ironically, 95% of my reference material on this subject came from female sociologists, psychologists, and psychiatrists, so this certainly is not a man against woman dynamic. This is in fact an objective, tireless search for the facts surrounding the problems that have plagued mankind for so long and will continue to in perpetuity until we are able to boldly accept the sometimes unpleasant facts, open an avenue of dialogue, and come together to institute a change. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, and this is Magnanimosity Part 3, Unleashing the Human Spirit. Please, again, feel free to contact us at magnanimosity.webs.com, magnanimosity.webs.com, and please look for Part 4 tomorrow in this 10-part series, Unleashing the Human Spirit. Thank you.